All right, everybody, welcome to the first of a couple of breakdowns. We're going to be bringing you Takakeisho's Yusho win, his 12-3, a very nice and impressive record. And even though he dropped 2 in a row in the middle of the Basho and even lost 1 to our favorite flying monkey, he still had an overall pretty good tournament. And well, I didn't cover him the last time because I ran out of time because a lot of things were happening. But this time around, I do have the time to cover him and the other 2 June Yusho winners, Koto Shoho and Kiribayama. So, this first match of the tournament, which I am using my own 15 days videos, and I think it actually works better this way because we could actually slow things down here on the YouTube side as well if we need to. It's going to be Wakamoto Haru versus Takakeisho. Now, coming into this tournament, we were all knowledgeable of the fact that he would have needed an additional strong Yusho. And strong Yusho comes in massive air quotes, and those air quotes basically meant he would need to get a Zensho Yusho in order to, win the yokozuna. And he didn't do that. He did a good job of it, though. And even though he didn't get the 14-1, he still got the Yusho win. And now that it is a clean-cut Yusho, no questions asked, even if it is a 12-3, he gets one more Yusho. He's got the rope, and I'm pulling for it. I know it's it's not exactly a hot take or anything. It is pretty well contested that some people don't want him to become Yokozuna. Some people do want him to become Yokozuna. And I think it is time we have another Yokozuna. The only annoying thing is we're not going to have any Ozeki left. But you have to remember, a Yokozuna is just Ozeki plus. A Yokozuna is basically just an Ozeki that can do their own ring entering ceremony. So will Takakeisho rise to that challenge in March? I don't know. Not yet, because we still have to break down his Hatsu Basho. His first match against Wakamoto Haru here, we'll watch it at full speed. And at full speed, it's a slow start for him as he takes the step back and uses that space to get a second charge forward. I thought it was going to be Wakamoto. And I even say live, I thought it was going to be Wakamoto Haru, but we can even see right off this initial Tachi eye, it's a slower start than he usually takes. Oh, not also to mention, pink will be the enemies, and yellow will be Takakeisho. For when I do use my pen tool. So anyway, we have Takakeisho. He doesn't charge forward as strongly as he usually does here. He just does this kind of step up and catch. Like, it's still a strong step forward, something that you would see out of Wakatakakage, that big left foot coming forward, but he doesn't push off and then get another charge in. He kind of just holds Wakamoto Haru at a distance before taking a step back. And that's something you're going to notice that happens a lot in this Basho. Takakeisho takes a lot of steps back, and that's in an effort to expand his offense, because not all retreats are defensive. He's going to take the step back here in just a moment, and he's going to get to the side of Wakamoto Haru, which you'll see right after this. He takes the step back, and he gets the slap right to the back. Right there, you can see it. But at full speed again, just watch his big left arm, boom, right to the back, and that sends Wakamoto Haru flying towards the edge, and the follow-up means Takakeisho gets the win right afterwards. And that's something that you're going to notice happens a lot, and that might be something you've noticed already happens a lot with Takakeisho. When he's not pushing forward, he uses those big arms to get long slaps to the side. And you're going to see this a lot. He pulls it back, boom, right to the back. And it's more like a punch to the back, like he's forcing it. And he's pushing all the way through so he can make Wakamoto Haru's momentum continue that direction out of the ring. It's not one of those like slaps that you'll see up to the face that is just meant to stun. This is a slap that's meant to fully follow through and send them in a completely different direction. So a good first win for Takakeisho, not unexpected. from him to get this first win. But this next match is going to be unexpected because it's going to be his match against Tobizadu, falling 1-1 after this. Oh, I accelerated a little too fast. But let's watch this match at full speed. Takakeisho going high, and he does get the step forward, but he's the one to get deflected by Tobizadu. And while Tobizadu retreats, he tried like 3 or 4 times to get the slap down from around the back. Just watch Tobizadu's assault here and watch how Takakeisho doesn't really know how to approach this attack. Because at the Tachi-ai, Tobizadu, he gets low. And when that happens, Takakeisho doesn't know how to respond. He's low, and he's going to use this arm to deflect Takakeisho to the side. Takakeisho is much higher than he usually is. Usually, he would be the one to get low, scoop up, and then dive back down for the recharge. But this time around, it's Tobizadu that gets low. When that happens, he tried to get to the side, and that was enough to send Takakeisho to the side, and I'm getting a notification that I need to update my share X, which no, I don't need to update my share X. Thank you though. When he slaps Takakeisho to the side like this, let me just click on this again real quick. Getting slapped in the now this bar isn't moving. He gets slapped to the side like that, and it forces him to take the step back and retreat so he can regain some space, regain this momentum. He took this step back right here, and now he's going to try to go for the recharge again. But Tobizadu is ready for it this time. Tobizadu is actually the one on the offense, and he's the one pushing forward. Now, this is where Tobizadu is going to start retreating, and every single time he takes that retreat, he's going to try to get the slap down. He's going to keep reaching those arms over the head, and he's going to pull back, and he's going to keep trying to slap down Takakeisho, which it's a good counter against Takakeisho's all-out dive forward offense. And you're going to see that several times here in the next few seconds. Pushing forward, tries to slap to the side right there. You saw Tobizadu rake down and away at the arms to try to send Takakeisho tumbling, but Takakeisho has a foot underneath him, so that center of gravity is not really being affected. Now, if his foot was back here, then he would have been slapped down, but he's not. But Tobizadu is going to keep on trying and trying again. On the push forward. He tried to pull at the arm right there, but Takakeisho makes him let go. And again, Takakeisho has really good feet under him. Even though he's not completely square, he has this base where his feet and his hips are aligned, and he can use that to dive those shoulders down and charge forward with everything going at once. It's just a matter of actually squaring up against his opponent Tobizadu here, which Tobizadu never really gives him the opportunity to, because right after that, Tobizadu, you saw he reached over the back of the head. Tobizadu still on the retreat, and then finally gets it in the middle of the ring here. And it's because, as you'll see as we back up, Takakeisho's footing gets a little too far away from him. Going back frame by frame here using the comma tool. But you can see as Takakeisho dives forward, those feet are no longer underneath him. They're all the way back here. His shoulders all the way over here, like kind of there. It's hard to do it from this angle and this perspective, but you can see what I'm doing here. His shoulders are way too far forward. His feet are not underneath his center of gravity. And so because of that, it's, you know, 1, 2, buckle my shoe. He's just going to get slapped down very easily as soon as this wants to update itself, because he can't catch himself. That foot is going out to the right. You're going to see it keep going out that direction. He can't catch himself. His body is way too far forward, and Tobizadu gets a really nice slap down. So Takakeisho learns from this, and he learns, okay, he needs to be more careful on those charges. He knows what's at stake. He knows his own style. He knows how easy it is to take advantage of him. Now, let's see if... Oh, this bar is still in the way. That's fine. You can see I have Qubit Torrent Discord. Oh, the match already started. So here we have Takakeisho, Daieisho, and we can see Takakeisho is once again not committing too hard to any of these attacks. He's just using those arms to try to counter Daieisho in this very back and forth Oshizumo match. Takes a lot out of both of them, but right there at the end, I think that's more of a Daieisho mistake than it is a Takakeisho good idea. But that's something that's 50-50, kind of up to interpretation. And most of this match is just going to be arm fighting in the middle of the ring. There isn't too much behind it here. It's going to be, you have the strong Tachi-ai from Daieisho, actually. And once again, Takakeisho, he's taking a good step forward, but it's not his usual, like, full-on blast. He's taken that step, and now Daieisho is going to be the one to do those swim moves on offense over and over. He's going to keep thrusting and keep thrusting and keep thrusting, while Takakeisho, he tries to respond with parries, and he tries to respond with blows inside. And as they rotate around the ring, you're going to notice this. Takakeisho trying to get low again, but Daieisho keeping him at an arm's length. And right here, Daieisho tries to slap down. Not going to work because, again, Takakeisho, feet underneath him, feet very solid and stable. Now Daieisho follows up with more thrusts up high, but again, look at this solid stance. Like, very, very solid stance. Look at these bullfrog legs, just keeping him balanced right here. And even though Daieisho is the one pushing up high at the face, these legs are just so stable. He's going to take a few steps back though, and he's taking those steps back so he can let Daieisho push forward, get into his groove, and then step to the side. Because again, he's going to do a lot of stepping to the side throughout this tournament. He's getting pushed back, parrying, 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 blowing inside, parrying, parrying, looking like Sekiro right now as they both try to parry each other's attacks. And then at this moment, you could start to see Daieisho is slipping. He's leaning way too far forward. His feet all the way back here, his upper body all the way this far forward away from his feet kind of thing. Again, it's hard to actually do this kind of perspective, but you see what's happening here. It's the same reason why Takakeisho lost yesterday. Daieisho is getting too far forward, and Takakeisho is able to slap him down to the side because of it. If Daieisho's feet were more underneath him, then that sidestep doesn't do anything, and he just pushes right through Takakeisho. But because the footing was poor near the end of it, Takakeisho outlasts Daieisho's assault, and Daieisho is the one to go stumbling out of the ring. Which, again, that's not something that usually happens. Daieisho, or rather Takakeisho, is the one that usually takes too much punishment, takes too much in terms of, you know, he runs out of gas so quickly. But this is the first of several matches this tournament where you see his stamina shine. And I think it's because he's taking these Tachi-Ai's a bit softer, a bit like he is, you know, he's not going 0 to 60 in 2 seconds. He's making sure to, you know, get into gear and ease into it before, you know, getting to full speed. So in this next match, we're going to see Takakeisho bloodied for the first time in this tournament as well. I think it happens like 4 times this tournament, right? He's going to be going up against Mitakeumi, which it's usually a very good matchup, right? This is usually a premier matchup, but, you know, something's wrong with Mitakeumi, or maybe Takakeisho's just really on point, but you're going to know what I mean very quickly. Takakeisho scoops up and pushes forward in a very, very unusual Tachi-Ai for him. Because usually Takakeisho will dive down and scoop up and push forward, but here he's going to hop his little feetsies forward and then he's going to scoop up. Just watch this real quick. Mitakeumi down first. He hops and uses both of those legs to push up into Mitakeumi. So instead of just getting the strength of that one big leg pushing forward and pushing up, he gets both of them going forward and pushing up. And it's just a very minuscule hop, but that's enough distance. That's a good, 7-8 inches. I don't know how big his feet are, but that's good distance. He hops forward and uses that to dive underneath and push up Mitakeumi in a way that Uda would really love to know. Because, Uda gets low and pushes up. But this match is basically won off of that little hop. This match is won off of that start to the match because Mitakeumi doesn't have any way to counter it. Let's see if I can go back frame by frame real quick here. Internet's a little bit laggy right now. Let's see if I can't... there's going to be no way to mitigate it. Let's be real. It's because I'm running like 10 programs at once. But you can see these feet, when you usually start backwards, like look at that little hop. Look at the starting position of his feet. And then this hop forward. He actually jumps like a good foot forward. And now, the reason why that's significant, again, imagine you're starting your Tachi-ai this close to the white line. You just explode. That's basically what he's trying to do here. Instead of starting his Tachi-ai from back here, he leapt forward and explodes forward from a much closer distance. That's crazy. And then from here, it's just overwhelming strength. There's not really much to analyze after that point because it is just the overwhelming strength of Takakeisho. But that's not a move I really remember seeing too often, and that's not a move I even caught live. He leapt forward and then dipped under for the charge.
And that is why Mitakeumi is no longer Ozeki.
Let me see if I can hide this toolbar real quick. Nah, it can't be hidden. I'll fix that later. But next up we have Tamawashi versus Takakeisho. Tamawashi at 3-1, Takakeisho also 3-1. Tamawashi an Oshizumo wrestler in his own right. And first, we have a couple of false starts we need to get through because they're being cheeky. But the match actually isn't that exciting. There's another false start. Playing some mind games here. And it goes back and forth both ways. Takakeisho forces the false start. Then Takakeisho false starts. Then Tamawashi false starts on purpose as well. It's all a mind game. And in the end, none of it really works out because you're going to see Takakeisho once again gets the double inside push straight to the chest. And there isn't really much to it. Again, you can't really see the feet, not just because of my chat being in the way, but also because they're just zoomed in, so you can't really see the feet. But as we go frame by frame here, just look at Takakeisho. He keeps those elbows inside. Keeping those elbows inside. He actually lets the left arm go down so he can use that to scoop up straight into the chest. I know it's really fuzzy right here and we get a nice camera flash, but he left his left arm down so he could swing it up into the charge. His feet don't really look like they moved, which again, we can't see because we're too zoomed in because the cameraman thinks we're doing WWE or something. But that's one thing to notice right here. That left arm scooping up straight into the chest of Tamawashi. That's another way to get momentum on your side. That's a body blow that, you can't ignore getting a slap to the chest like that, a thrust to the chest. That's a big blow right off the Tachi-ai. And he uses that to create distance immediately. Tamawashi gets pushed back off of that. And then from here, Takakeisho's going to do his usual thing, dive down, push up into his opponent. And once again, it's overwhelming strength. That initial left hand block up into this strong push. Fantastic strength from Takakeisho. And there really isn't much else to it.
No more bullshit. No more false starts. Takakeisho taking the win.
And I have people,
Taking the
a little notification I had from Discord is people roasting me from, I guess, the Banzuke that I just posted to the Nato Sumo Discord. Because listen, I know I posted it last week already, and it might have had some things to say, but I stand by it. Tobizaru's my favorite, but I don't think he's making komusubi. I love him though. Next up, we have the undefeated Abi coming off of the back of his Yusho, going up against Takakeisho. And the big thing that made Abi win the last time was the fact that Takakeisho was afraid of the Henka, so his Tachi-ai was just straight up awful. This time around, though, Takakeisho, he's not afraid of any potential losing Tachi-ai. He's not afraid of any potential Henka right now. He's just, focusing on his own sumo. Scooping up, and he doesn't charge hard at the Tachi-ai again, but what he does do is he stays very strong and stalwart, just standing in the middle of the ring like a tree, and he forces Abi to move around him. Instead of using those arms to thrust forward, he's using them to manipulate his opponent into trying to get to the side. Like, just watch this at full speed again. He uses that left hand up under the armpit of Abi to toss him to the side, and even though he is indeed getting pushed in the face, he's deflecting all of that pressure. He's deflecting it to the side, to the side, to the side, because look, he has not moved that much from where his Tachi-ai started, whereas Abi, he's gone all the way around the ring because he just keeps getting deflected to the side, to the side, to the side. And that's really smart defense from Takakeisho here. And then after being able to get pressure forward, Abi squares up against him, and that's the mistake Abi makes. Abi is the one to retreat back to the Tawada in the first place, and using that, Takakeisho just moves forward into him, and Abi has nowhere else to run. The last attack there from Takakeisho wasn't fully straight on, but, Abi was in a near unrecoverable state. He would have needed to pull some pirouettes on that Tawada, and even then, Takakeisho was still in at that time. But again, just watch this again at full speed. Takakeisho just spends the entire time deflecting him to the side, to the side, to the side, to the side, and then follows up in the middle. Really smart defensive sumo there, and recognizing that he had that left hand up under the armpit and just kept pushing and moving and pushing and moving. Really smart sumo to just recognize, I can keep doing this. I can do this all day. I can keep sending Abi around the ring until he eventually falls out, and that's exactly what he did.
Abi falls. There is no undefeated, and Takakeisho is back on track.
Next match is Midori Fuji versus Takakeisho, and this one, it's not out yet. It will be out in a few weeks, but this one is on the top 10 list of the top 10 matches of the Hatsu Basho. Try to guess which one it is in the comments down below. But Takakeisho, Midori Fuji, you're going to see it again here. Takakeisho doesn't do much offense on his own. It's a lot of sitting and waiting. And I mean, yeah, he throws out some haymakers, but he's staying in his own zone. He's keeping his zone where he is standing, and he's using that as his pillar to manipulate his opponents around. This is a very exciting match, but at full speed, we'll try to analyze it. Takakeisho with that strong push forward against a much smaller opponent, but he retreats and keeps those feet underneath him. In that slapdown attempt too, keeping those feet underneath him. Not charging recklessly right there into the attack. He does not charge recklessly. And then on this retreat, he gets the throw. And that is not something you see every day from Takakeisho. because he doesn't usually go for grabs. And that's something new pulled out of his pocket. We're halfway into the tournament. We're on day 7 and he pulls that out. Now it's like, oh shoot, what else does he got? And you're going to see he does measured charges. He doesn't recklessly charge ahead like he used to. He's going to take step forward, step forward. He's shuffling forward. He's not taking these big bounding steps forward. He's shuffling that foot. He's taking the step, sure, with this left foot, but he shuffles the right foot forward. And he's going to do it again, over and over again. And that is where you keep your base. You keep your feet underneath you. You keep your feet wide. You shuffle them forward. And that's how you keep the consistent push forward. He's going to keep... He's going to keep doing it here over and over again until he has Midori Fuji on the edge. Like, when he takes these steps, you have to look and see how low to the ground these steps are. They're not too far away, so he could immediately catch himself again and again. And even right there, while he was trying to slap down, he pulled up that right foot just a little bit. But he keeps those feet underneath him. He keeps them centered and square. And even on this retreat, the step back for the throw... He keeps his feet exactly where they need to be the entire way through. And, you know, for the most part, when it comes to sumo or any combat sport, you don't really think too much about the footing, or you don't praise it too much because it's like, yes, that's something that he should be doing to begin with, you know? But in this instance, I think it is very praiseworthy because it's not something that Takakeisho really was known for. He was known for his big blasts, not his good footwork. And right here, his footwork was impeccable. It was really well done. And even though Midori Fuji puts up a good amount of resistance, let's actually see about slowing things down here. Half speed for this part of it. So we could really get a sense of what's going on in this match. Takakeisho double hands inside, blasts Midori Fuji backwards twice, 3 times. Midori Fuji getting completely overpowered, tries to pull at this arm right here. He's trying to pull Takakeisho, but Takakeisho, again, solid footing, solid ground. He actually uses that pull on the right to swing, oh, I'm using the wrong color, to swing it back around and attack on the left, bringing his foot forward there as well. And then at this point, again, he doesn't commit too hard going forward. He doesn't commit. He doesn't overcommit at the edge. He's actually swinging this foot back so he could re-square himself and then push forward again. Watch this. It's a little slow. His foot does catch around here before he finally pulls it back and re-squares up. And that is a small, small mistake there. And Midori Fuji could not capitalize on it because it was just a very small, slow mistake. But right here, re-squares up against his opponent. And again, big left hand right to the side, right to the back. Going for the slap down here as he takes the step back. And a slap down is not something he does, you know, incredibly often. He usually goes for those oshidashis. But right here, again, good just fundamental positions. He's going to get the hand to the back of the neck, trying to push down, but Midori Fuji responds by keeping his feet underneath himself so he can't get slapped down. So right here, this is where they both pull back away from each other. Big slap to the side of the head. That's just to stun, try to throw them off balance. Midori Fuji misses a big slap as well right there. And Takakeisho, again, he's not overcommitting to these attacks. He's letting it happen, and he's responding in a smart and measured manner. He's not doing anything too crazy because he knows that when he gets crazy, he loses. So he's just waiting, measuring it out. And right here, you're going to see it on full display. They just square up at each other. And when they do this, both of them, you know, they relax their bodies for a bit. And that's dangerous because it's easy to take advantage of an opponent who's relaxing. Like, you could see the shoulders slouch. You could see them standing up a little bit straighter because they're not down in that ready squatting position. That's dangerous, but it's a measured risk. They need this tiny little break so they can get back into it. Takakeisho inching forward, slaps Midori Fuji to the side, and Midori Fuji tries to use that to get inside, but Takakeisho uses this left arm again to keep him at a distance. Misses a little bit of a thrust there, but again, just striking inside, striking at the chest over and over again until Midori Fuji, his arm gets grabbed. Arm grab for Takakeisho, and from here, it's a simple step back and throw over the hip.
Trying to dive to the chest.
Using both arms to get this throw as well, throwing his whole body into it so much so that his own leg gives out underneath him.
Pushing back, throw.
And you could say that he fell after he knew he won because he was just so gassed. But that's another thing about this fight too, and I'm sorry for hitting my mic again. That's another thing about this fight too, is that Takakeisho, that was a long fight. And he fought at 100% the entire way. Usually, he would have been gassed after those like first 10, 20 seconds. But this was the entire way through. This was the whole match. He was at 100%. And that's something incredibly notable. His stamina getting better. And that's, again, something that we have to consider when we talk about Takakeisho. Sure, he's been in Ozeki for so long, but he's young. He's 26. He still has a lot of room to improve in a lot of different ways. Usually the cutoff mark is like, around the late 20s, early 30s, but this isn't a video game. This isn't Madden. We don't know exactly what his peak is going to be, like his peak overall stat line. But the thing you can know is that he does still have a lot of room to improve. He has a lot of space ahead of him in order to keep growing into that yokozuna. And if his stamina can keep getting better and better, and stamina is something that is difficult to train, especially when the turnaround time is only 2 months between tournaments, but that stamina is going to matter more and more and more. Because if he can start going longer and longer in these matches, he is going to be nigh unstoppable. Because if he keeps taking these measured approaches to the Tachi-ai, to each assault, he's already strong and powerful. Now you add like an extra health bar to him, that this fight's going to be near impossible. So this Takakeisho that we're seeing right now is shaping up to be something very scary.
What a beast!
What a
Takakeisho will be yokozuna this year.
And that is a bold statement, but I believe it. I think Takakeisho gets yokozuna soon if he keeps this up. Because again, that was something that was a major concern for him, was that stamina. And then he goes and has like this doesn't sound very long, but like matches that are at least a dozen seconds long, which that's usually unheard of in sumo, Anything longer than like 6-7 seconds is like, oh wow, this is a long match. And I keep hitting my microphone. I'm so sorry. But you're getting my point. You're getting it. Next up, we have Nishiki Fuji versus Takakeisho.
Big charge from Takakeisho, but Nishiki Fuji meets him quite well.
Just
actually.
slap fighting in the middle of the ring. Takakeisho, once again, these slow, measured approaches. Every single one of these thrusts is not an overcommit, and even on this retreat, once again, keeping that solid footing underneath him until the very end where he takes that sidestep.
What a move by Takakeisho.
And again, we can watch this at full speed. It's classic Takakeisho offense. He's scooping down, pushing up, scooping down, pushing up, scooping down, pushing up over and over again. The only risky part when we get to it is going to be like that full retreat he does in the middle of the ring. But as you'll see, it's get low, scoop up. He does take the big left foot step, much like how Nishiki Fuji counters with the big right foot step, but it's going to be constant. Like those hands are flying fast too. It's going to be constant. Go down, push up. Go down, push up. Go down, push up. Go down, push up. And he's making a lot of ground here. It's inch by inch, but he's making a lot of ground. And you could argue that this isn't his most powerful match because, this is Nishiki Fuji. He's 3-4. It's a Maegashira 4. It's a dude that really shouldn't be this high up the ranks. But you also have to consider that this is a different style for Takakeisho. He's not overcharging like a bull, like Hokuto Fuji, into a lot of these matches. He's taking these measured charges and he's making sure he gets the full, I forget the word, but he's getting the full amount of his pushes. I just can't find the right word for it. I'm stupid. I'm having a brain fart right now, but you understand what I'm saying, right? He's making sure that he's getting 100% of everything he's doing. And even though it's not a charge as powerful, like physically, as it usually is, it's still measured and it is still where it needs to be physically. It's still right in that chest area, every single one. And, you know, you could have one big haymaker or you could have, you know, 3 strong jabs to the chest. You know, both of them are going to be powerful and both of them whittle away at you over time in, you know, different fashions. The haymakers aren't working anymore. So now he has to go for these blow after blow after blow after blow. And now that Nishiki Fuji is recovering and pushing back, we can see Takakeisho. He's going to go on the full retreat right here. He's stepping back, but he's shuffling those feet back. He's keeping those feet underneath him. Keeping those feet underneath him. And once again, big left hand right to the back to deflect the attack. And that's something that now these sumo wrestlers should probably start looking out for, is that big left hand. They need to dodge against that big left hand, because that nearly slapped down Nishiki Fuji. And now we can see Nishiki Fuji, he's getting wild. He's rocking back and forth as he's trying to attack here. And that's where Takakeisho, you know, he's cool, calm, collected. He's square. He's shuffling back. He's shuffling back. He's shuffling to the side. While Nishiki Fuji, he's getting wild and manhandled all over the place, into the moment where he finally does stumble forward because he hits air. Just watch this again from Takakeisho. It's like a Looney Tunes cartoon. He just whoop, and wow. You can even see Takakeisho like dipped his head down to get into that spin. Like, watch it. It's like, what? Oh, this was also the day that I had horrible hiccups. But yeah, that was the thing to consider about Takakeisho, and the reason why I'm putting so much emphasis on his footwork is because that footwork was never, you know, amazing. It was never A++. But now that it's getting to the point, it's notable that his footwork is so good. And again, pointing out things like the fundamentals, like the basics, you know, that should be second nature to these guys. But even then, they still make those mistakes. And that's why in all sports, you always practice the fundamentals. You always have to do that because it's just imperative to every single layer of the sport. It's imperative that you have good footwork in sumo. It's imperative that your blows land the way they need to. It's imperative that on your tachi-ai, your elbows are in and you push up and forward so you can get a good tachi-ai. And so when these fundamentals are notably improving on someone like the Ozeki, you can kind of think of it as them, you know, leveling up by recognizing where they're weakest. If your weakest point is your fundamentals, then train up your fundamentals.
What a move by Takakeisho. No, definitely.
More blood from Takakeisho as well. This next one is against Sara no Umi. Sara no Umi getting completely overpowered at the tachi-ai, and there really isn't much more to it. It's not really fair to say Sara no Umi is a weak Rikishi, and it's not really fair to blame his age either, but he is a veteran. He is historically very bad into the head-to-head matchup against Takakeisho. And again, this is just Takakeisho using strength to straight up win the match. And sometimes matches are really just that simple. Again, this is a combat sport. Sometimes the stronger guy just wins. Not to mention the fact that I think Sara no Umi has a bad tachi-ai here, because as you can see, he takes the forehead straight to the nose of Sara no Umi. And then after that, his footing, the way he switches up his footing here, swings this back, swings this forward, like I'm really wondering what he was trying to do here, because it's not like he's using the right hand to attack and swing it into Takakeisho to deflect Takakeisho. He's just trying to get the shoulder down, I think, blocking with this forearm. I'm not really sure what Sada no Umi is doing here, but Takakeisho measured follow-up and gets the win. Kachikoshi on day 9.
Takakeisho with the Kachikoshi.
Sometimes it really is just that simple. Next up, we have Meisei versus Takakeisho. Meisei getting low, trying to scoop the belt, but Takakeisho immediately from the Tachi-ai goes for the arm throw. And again, that's not something we usually see from Takakeisho. Just watch this again. Right off the Tachi-ai, Takakeisho, he doesn't opt for that usual Oshizumo he does. He gets the good left foot forward. He's not doing that hop like he did against Mitakeumi. He gets the left foot forward. He's going to use his outside left to lock in around this arm here.
Meisei
Takes the step back, gets the grip around the arm, and then he's going to go for a throw again like he did, what was it, on day 3, 4? But you get my point. He's keeping his feet underneath him again, and they're not too far forward that he'll actually stumble backwards and fall flat on his back. They're underneath him. He's shuffling them backwards. Like, look at how little that right foot picks up off the ground in all of these little movements. It's like watching a basketball player pivot on their right foot. Barely like 2 inches off the ground. Puts it down. Come on. I need this frame by frame to be just a little bit faster. Lifts it up again. Barely, 2 inches off the ground, puts it back down immediately, and he's going to keep doing that over and over so he can keep that balance, keep that support where it needs to be right underneath him. And that's something that again, we talk about with other sumo wrestlers when they take steps that are far too large and they get punished for it. If Takakeisho were to have taken too big of a step, then he falls backwards or he slips and falls forwards. But those feet are exactly where they need to be. Like, he's swinging his body around in this one, but the foot only moves the length of his foot because he's making sure he stays balanced and he keeps it underneath him. It's very good sumo. Very good sumo from Takakeisho. Now, here is going to be a very interesting match because this is going to be the first time since Tobizaru that Takakeisho loses. It is against the challenging Komusubi Kotonowaka. Kotonowaka catches Takakeisho at the Tachi-ai, and Takakeisho, his usual pushing forward isn't working as well because Kotonowaka has a bigger frame. That big left-hand slap doesn't work, and in an attempt to try to get that retreat pull down, Kotonowaka smells it out and just doesn't let it happen. So watch this again at full speed. Well, I'm going to be pausing again, but Takakeisho, he tries the hop forward Tachi-ai again. He tries the hop forward that he tried against Mitakeumi, but Mitakeumi does not have the same frame as Kotonowaka. Kotonowaka is much taller, and so he thinks that that's going to get him the leverage he needs, and in theory, it should. In theory, this kind of leverage should get you everything you need to just push up and through Kotonowaka. But Kotonowaka, he's going to keep his footing here. He actually slides this right foot back enough, lowers those shoulders too, like lowers the shoulders, slides the back foot. Hips are still roughly the same height, but now because Takakeisho's initial push up failed, he's in kind of a bad spot here because now he needs to either create distance so he could push back and dive in again, or he needs to go for some sort of grappling game, and that's definitely not going to work here. So what he does here is he tries to make that distance, but by the time he does, now it's Kotonowaka in control. He has big right arm under the armpit, and we talk about those T-Rex arms of Takakeisho, this is where he's really getting punished. That's almost a full length arm. Like, it is a little bent at the elbow here, coming, you know, out this way and then forward. But that's almost a full length arm from Takakeisho, you know, reaching for Kotonowaka. Kotonowaka, his arm isn't even fully extended. If it was, then Takakeisho would be all the way over here. And that's really the struggle that Takakeisho is going to have if he gets into these pushing matches. He needs to be able to get those hands inside like we have been seeing, like against Tamawashi, like against Daisho, either parrying those hands inside with his own headbutt charges, or, you know, he really can't do much. So from here, Kotonowaka is able to push forward, and he's the one that gets elbows inside. Even though Takakeisho has hands inside, Kotonowaka has the elbows down and blocking. He's using these forearms to keep Takakeisho at that arm's length. So Kotonowaka is the one in control here. When that happens, you know, again, creating the distance for the usual charges, Kotonowaka already knows it coming. He's scooping up already before the charge even comes in from Takakeisho. He knows it. And even though those arms did slip up the side, that looks like it was still enough to, like, not get the full brunt of it. Kotonowaka is going to get pushed way far back here, but he manages to get his footing again. And now, again, T-Rex arm comes into play. Full length arm, not as much of a full length arm, but this is a fully bent arm from Kotonowaka. If he just pushes and extends the arm, then there's nothing Takakeisho can do here. Takakeisho recognizes that, and he tried to slap the hands down to the side. And usually when that happens, when you slap those arms down, that momentum will pull the sumo wrestler down with it. But Kotonowaka has good, solid footing. It's not, you know, exactly underneath him, like squared up, but it's good footing that he needs to have to be able to keep his balance. And from there, that slap attempt does not work. And it's not like Takakeisho has a grip on the arm so he can try to go for the pull armbar throw. But now Takakeisho, he's the one getting the hand up to the face inside from Kotonowaka. Tries to go for the retreat move. Like, that big left hand that we've been praising him all the time for, it just glanced off of Kotonowaka. It did no damage to him. You could say he might have been more out of gas here because, no, again, back and forth match. It is day 11 at this point, so it's not like he's going to be at 100%. But that's still, like, that was nothing. That slap did absolutely nothing. And then he tries to follow it up with a retreat around the side, tries to get the hand up top to try to get the slap down around the side, but Kotonowaka is too tall for someone as short as Takakeisho to be able to get that slap down. And that's where we can really start to talk about Takakeisho's physical limitations again. Arms too short, not tall enough. And against these tall, lanky opponents like Kotonowaka, and against the tall, large opponents like Teruno Fuji, he does struggle. Against the guys like Daisho and Tamawashi, sure, they have long arms, but they're not so much insanely taller that it's impossible for him to even consider something like a slapdown. But, you know, Kotonowaka just has a good body to counter Takakeisho. And we can even take a step further than that. Look at Kotonowaka's head-to-head against Takakeisho. Sure, it's 5-2 in favor of Takakeisho. But that's two solid wins within the past, how long is that? 2.5 years against an Ozeki? That's not bad at all.
Trying to deliver a smack, trying to jump to the
and
side
now that the other thing to consider too, talking about growing experience, Kotonowaka, you know, in those 2.5 years, he's been getting stronger as well. It's not like he's been doing nothing. So I feel like this could be a very strong rivalry we see for the next few years. And that is one I will definitely welcome.
blasted out of the ring. Kotonowaka with the win.
Now this next match, Takakeisho is also going to lose that one. And it's not unexpected because his opponent here is Kiribayama. Kiribayama is someone that I have been praising for a very long time as someone who is very good, but he just hasn't been good enough to get that 10th win, to get that 11th win. This tournament, he finally does it. This tournament, I feel like he is probably the favorite to become the next Ozeki, and I know Wakataka Kage and Hoshoryu much more popular and have been more consistent, but I mean, Wakataka Kage's consistency has been lacking. Well, you know what? This is stuff that we'll talk about when we do the Kiribayama video. We're doing the Takakeisho video right now. Takakeisho and Kiribayama. This is another rivalry that I think will last for quite a while, and one that I am looking forward to watching for a very long time. But this one, it's not too much of a contest because Kiribayama manages to get his arm wrapped around the back of Takakeisho and simply throws him down to the ground. Now, what happens here for Takakeisho? He stumbles, and then he gets caught. What makes him stumble here? Bad footwork. Watch these feet. Watch them at full speed. The only reason why you should stumble is if your opponent forces it. But this is, I think, an unforced error from Takakeisho here. Bad footwork makes him slip and stumble, and that just puts him right into the chest for a Kiribayama victory. Now, again, it goes both ways. Taking advantage of a mistake your opponent makes is high skill, but there are times where, someone loses more than the opponent wins. And I love Kiribayama, love Takakeisho. This was more of a Takakeisho losing than it was a Kiribayama winning. So, again, watch it at full speed. Watch those feet from Takakeisho. We can even slow it down to half speed. Where are you? Playback speed. The footwork of Takakeisho here. A little bit of both. His foot gets picked way high up off the ground. This foot took too big of a step forward in combination with Kiribayama attempting a slap down to the back. And that's also because, well, he just had bad form. Bad form in this fight. From the Tachi, we could see that it's actually relatively even. It's usual Takakeisho versus usual Kiribayama. Takakeisho, right there. Not sure what forces him to dip his head forward like that. And now that I see it coming in reverse, I know what it is. Watch this right foot. He's going to take too big of a step. He's missing with this left arm. He's getting thrusted in the face by the right arm. And he has a lot of momentum coming forward like this. His feet are not underneath him. He's going to take too big of a step with this right foot. And that's what forces the stumble. Then immediately Kiribayama catches him, gets the easy slap down.
For a second as
that 1 second lapse, that footwork that we've been praising him for all tournament long,
the sole leader as Kiribayama
gone in an instant, immediately loses. Now we have Onosho, who was the tournament leader at this point. And fun fact, during the live stream, I even mentioned that it's been years since the last time Onosho had more than 10 wins, and that I did predict him falling to this 10-5 scoreline. Even with these last 3 days, even with how good he was looking, I called it. And I think that's pretty funny. Then again, that's my job as a sumo analyst and commentator, to be able to correctly predict these things, as long as you forget all of the incorrect predictions that I've made. Takakeisho getting low, getting that big left hand again to try to deflect Onosho, but now Onosho keeping his footing, staying forward. Big right hand for Takakeisho, and that's what looks like stuns Onosho into giving up that double inside push to the chest. And that's the third time Takakeisho bleeds. But yeah, at full speed again, we can watch Takakeisho scooping up like he usually does, big left hand, but then Onosho responds in kind, uses big right hand right there, and I think that with a follow-up from Onosho that completely misses is what gives Takakeisho the win there, because Takakeisho does his usual scoop under the arm of Onosho. One more time at full speed before we get into the pausing stuff. But again, good footwork from Takakeisho. Those feet stay underneath him right here. Big whiff from Onosho. Big whiff from Onosho. And that's kind of what ends it for Onosho. But what gets him to that point in the first place? Takakeisho, good tachi-ai. Good footwork, shuffling forward, shuffling around. And yes, I am doing this a little bit accelerated because this is a slightly longer match. But once again, big left hand to deflect Onosho. Onosho stumbling, but Takakeisho catches him with that right forearm. And that actually allows Onosho to swivel and get a big left hand of his own to the back of Takakeisho. He uses that to follow up with a strong right uppercut to the chin, and that makes Takakeisho jump back a bit, nearly stumbled on those feet too, but keeps those feet underneath him. He's going to start shuffling backwards, shuffling away, and it's going to be Onosho on the offense here. He's actually sliding backwards, Takakeisho, nearly too far backwards, such that he might fall on his stomach, but that's another story. Getting scooped up again, literally face to face with his opponent, pushed back nearly to the edge. Onosho's slow on that attack. He didn't try to follow up with one of his usual big charges. And again, being measured and smart in your attack and not overcommitting is a good thing, because right there, we already see Takakeisho was taking that step to the side. And if Onosho were to have, committed to that full-on attack, then, well, he just would have been, tumbling into the audience. Right there, this is where Onosho starts to lose his footing. Gets a slap to the face of Takakeisho, but like, what is this left foot doing all the way back here in the air? What is his right foot doing if not just barely saving you? He needs to pull this foot around and get it underneath him, because right now his upper body is way too far forward in the middle of the ring. Takakeisho follows up by missing that big left slap, and if he got that, then Onosho actually would have just tumbled out into the audience. But big whiff from Takakeisho right there. Now they're once again chest to chest, Oshizumo. Big slap to the face again from Onosho, or to Onosho, and then right here, Onosho tries to go for a slap himself, but it completely whiffs because Takakeisho full-length arm straight to the throat of Onosho, and Onosho can't do anything about it. Fantastic recovery from Takakeisho to get the win here. The third time he bleeds, and every single time he bleeds, he wins.
Onosho fought well, but Takakeisho, with those measured charges, far back. He wants to force Takakeisho to do something interesting.
Here we have a Whole Shoryu versus Takakeisho. This was after Whole Shoryu got injured, twisting his ankle. So, one could argue that this match is not a good reflection of what this rivalry should be. And I agree. Whole Shoryu on I'm not going to say bum ankle because he still fought through it, but he's on a bad ankle. He's not at 100%. And that is unfortunate, but the show must go on. Steps forward, stepping back, and letting Whole Shoryu fall. Step forward, step back, slap down.
Nice step back.
And there really isn't much else to it. It's the usual big left foot forward from Takakeisho, catches Whole Shoryu, and again, this left arm. I'm not sure if Takakeisho is left-handed or not, but he seems to use it in a lot of his sumo. That left arm, he's going to pull Hoshoryu down and slap him down with it.
There you go. Hoshoryu.
And you could, oh, actually, you could see it really quick right there. I never even saw that. That was a lightning fast slap to the arm. We're just going to back it up just a little bit more. And that's one of the things that sumo wrestlers need is that speed. I have a need for speed. But this arm from Takakeisho is, if YouTube can keep helping me out here, it's going to go from here to hit the elbow of Hoshoryu. Just watch this frame by frame. It's crazy, crazy powerful, crazy quick. He pulls back for just a moment and immediately just whap right on the elbow of Hoshoryu. And because Hoshoryu's footing is already unstable to begin with, like he's squared up in a completely different direction. His feet and hips are facing, well, his entire body is like facing the Gyoji right here. Not sure where Hoshoryu is going in this match, but Takakeisho hitting that arm right there, he's probably pulling with the right arm too. That's something we can't really see. He's probably got Hoshoryu by the hand, pulling, pushing right here so he could pull him in for this slap down. That's something I did not see at full speed live. That's crazy fast. Takakeisho with an impressive victory there.
Slap down.
He's so good.
Might be the Ozeki or that.
And then this was the final match of the tournament for the Yusho, Koto Shoho versus Takakeisho in this Musubi no Ichiban. Another impressive fight for both, or not really for both men, but another impressive fight for Takakeisho. And it just shows the complete dominance of the Ozeki. Watch it here.
Challenger. Takakeisho with
Big push forward, his usual Tachi-ai actually got caught by Koto Shoho, but he uses that against him and throws Koto Shoho instead.
So good.
So the notable thing here is usual Tachi-ai. He actually takes a baby left foot forward. Like that first step with that left foot, it's a baby step. He barely moves it forward. And then after he does, immediately follows up with a big right foot forward. And I'm not sure why he changes up the way he charges, but it works. Pulls that right foot forward next to him. So maybe that was like a little modified hop. He didn't want to actually hop forward. He just put the left foot forward and then, right foot right after, because there's a difference between letting both of your feet leave the ground and only having one right after the other. It's a boom instead of a boom boom. But even something as small as that could have a big effect on the outcome of a match. And right here, once again, usual Tachi-ai from Takakeisho. Koto Shoho takes the step back in the retreat, and you can see his arms are a little wild right here. And here at Takakeisho, when he dives in a second time, his arms getting low and inside, but Koto Shoho catches them, and I think this is where he tries to go for a grab, but it gets turned against him, because this is where Takakeisho is actually the one to initiate the grab. He's the one that pulls that arm up underneath Koto Shoho's armpit. And then this is where, again, we've seen it twice this tournament. He would get the arm bar hold and pull back for the pull down. And that's almost what happens, because Koto Shoho, he kind of reciprocates the grip and he's trying to get a better angle so he could try to go for a throw himself. But Takakeisho, again, stable. He's not perfectly squared up with everything in sync, but he's stable, and that's what matters most, because he's going to swing the body around and he's going to use this big left arm to throw Koto Shoho to the ground. And that is how it's all going to end. One little thing to mention there too is that follow-up with that left foot. Like right here, Koto Shoho initiates the throw, but this Koto Shoho, this back leg, as he kicks it up, it misses. I think this was a Kakenage attempt, but Takakeisho is going to get that left foot down, and he's going to throw Koto Shoho
Going for the throw
to the ground.
in middle of the ring, and it was no contest.
Very
Takakeisho
good
Yusho.
sumo from Takakeisho throughout this entire tournament. And even in those matches that he lost, you know, it's just going back to those fundamentals, keeping that good footwork, keeping those feet underneath you, and making sure that you can continue to have good, solid sumo and his brand of sumo. You could really only argue that one of those losses was due to like alligator arms, T-Rex arms, and that was only against Koto Nowaka, who he is historically good against, you know? But for the most part, I feel like his sumo is at some of the best we've seen for him, and he's only going to get better for the next few years. He definitely has not reached his peak yet, and I do believe that he will become yokozuna in the near future. That is going to be it for me. I need to take my dog on a walk. Oh, wow, he didn't react. Barry, you want to go on a walk? No? Okay. I guess not. That doesn't look like a dog that wants to go on a walk, is it? What, you think I'm kidding? It's almost 5 o'clock, dude. You got to go for a walk. This is the first time I've ever seen him not react. Well, here he comes. I'm going to take out my dog Bear. Thank you, Bubba. This was the Takakeisho breakdown. Next week, we're going to have Kiri Bayama and the top 10 of the top division video. And then the week after that, after the Banzuke comes out, we're going to have the lower division breakdown into the Koto Nowaka, into the Koto Shoho breakdown. So look forward to more sumo content. I recorded this video on the 6th of February. By the time this comes out, I really hope we have a YouTube partner by this point. If we don't, then, you know, watch this video 5 or 10 more times so we can get those watch hours, so we can get that YouTube partner. And for the next Basho, for the rise of Yokozuna Takakeisho, maybe then can we see YouTube memberships on my account. I will be seeing you guys later because I gotta take Bear out. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Bear, you want to speak? Speak. Want to speak for the people? Speak. Come on, Bear, speak. Nah, he doesn't want to do it. He's boring.